Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Daf Yomi, Bava Metzia Tractate Masechet Bava Metzia Daf 84 Amud B. After this digression, the Gemara returns to the story of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, and although his flesh did not putrefy, even so Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, still did not rely on his own opinion. So what does that mean? There is some of Rabbi Elazar, the Rabbi Shimon, and Date. Some commentaries explain that although those whom he convicted were in fact wicked, Rabbi Elazar was nevertheless concerned that perhaps righteous people would have descended from them. The continuation of the story shows that the reverse was the case, as Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, was actually the cause of the birth of many righteous sons, Manei HaChochma. As he was worried that he may have erred in one of his decisions, he accepted the afflictions upon himself as atonement for his possible sins, and now his attempts were spread out 60 felt bed coverings for him. In the morning, despite the bed coverings, they removed 60 basins of blood and pus from underneath him. The following day, every morning, his wife would prepare for him 60 types of relish, a lifter. What does that mean? And this is from the Greek lopas or lopados in the genitive, meaning a type of flat plate, or related to the Greek lepidi, a dish prepared from figs, says Rashi, made from figs, and he would eat them and become healthy. His wife, concerned for his health, were not allowed to go to the study hall, so that the rabbis would not push him beyond his limits. In the evening, he would say to his pains, "My brothers and my friends, come." In the morning, he would say to them, "Go away, due to the dereliction of Torah study that you caused me." One day, his wife heard him inviting his pains. She said to him, "You are bringing the pains upon yourself. You have diminished the money of my father's home due to the cost of treating your self-imposed afflictions." She brought against him and went back to her father's home, and he was left with no one to care for him. Meanwhile, there were these 60 sailors who came and entered to visit Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon. They brought him 60 servants, each bearing 60 persons, and prepared him 60 types of relish, and he ate them. When they encountered trouble at the sea, these sailors prayed to be saved in the merit of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon. Upon returning to dry land, they presented him with these gifts. One day, the wife of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, said to her daughter, "Go and check on your father and see what he is doing now." The daughter came to her father, who said to her, "Go and tell your mother that ours is greater than theirs, i.e., my financial state is greater than that of your father's household." He read the verse about himself. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. Proverbs 31:14. What does that mean? She is like the merchant ships. The Torah is likened to a woman on numerous occasions in Proverbs. And accordingly, in the absence of his wife, Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon quoted this verse in reference to the Torah, of the financial state improved due to his Torah study and Yosef. As he was unhinged by his wife from going to the study hall, Rabbi Elazar son of Rabbi Shimon ate and drank and became healthy and went out to the study hall. The students brought 60 questionable samples of blood before him for inspection to determine whether or not they were menstrual blood. He deemed them all ritually pure, and thereby permitting the women to engage in intercourse with their husbands. The rabbis of the academy were murmuring about Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, saying, "Can it enter your mind that there is not one uncertain sample among them? You must be mistaken." Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, said to them, "If the halach is in accordance with my ruling that all the children born from these women be males, and if not, that there be one female among them." It turned out that all of the children were males, and they were called Elazar in his name. As is taught in the Bible, Behuda Nasi lamented and said concerning the wife of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, "How much procreation has this evil woman prevented from the Jewish people? She caused women not to have children by preventing her husband from going to the study hall and rendering his halachic rulings." As Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, was dying, he said to his wife, "I know that the rabbis are angry at me for arresting several thieves who are their relatives, and therefore they will not properly tend to my burial. When I die, lay me in my attic." Oganin Be'ilisai. How could Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, instruct his wife to neglect the mitzvah of burial? The commentary suggests that the sages considered burial a form of atonement for the deceased, which he did not need. due to his acceptance of afflictions upon himself during his lifetime. Others explain that Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, did not actually die at that point in time. Rather, he suffered from an illness that prevented him from enjoying the company of others. He therefore requested that his wife allow him to remain in his attic, where she alone would attend to him. The Gemara relates that despite his illness, his body remained in a healthy state, as evidenced by the blood that appeared in place of a fallen hair. He would rule on halachic questions from the attic. These rulings sounded muffled and distant, like an echo due to his weakened state. Paradis Ramonim. And do not be afraid of me, i.e., do not fear anything that will happen to my corpse. Rabbi Shimon ben Namani said, Rabbi Yonathan's mother told me that the wife of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, told her, I laid him in the attic for no less than 18 years and for no more than 22 years. His wife continued, and when I would go up to the attic, I would check his hair, and when a hair would fall out from his head, blood would come and appear in its place, i.e., his corpse did not decompose. One day, I saw a worm emerging from his ear and became very distressed that perhaps his corpse had begun to decompose. My husband appeared to me in a dream and said to me, it is no matter for concern, rather this is a consequence for a sin of mine, as one day I heard a Torah scholar being insulted and I did not protest as I should have. Therefore I received the punishment in my ear measure for measure. During this period, when two people would come for adjudication of a dispute, they would stand by the doorway to the home of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon. One litigant must state his side of the matter. The other litigant must state his side of the matter. A voice would issue from his attic saying, so-and-so you're guilty, and so-and-so you're innocent. The Gemara relates, one day the wife of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, was quarreling with a neighbor. The neighbor said to the curse, this woman should be like her husband who is not buried. When word spread that Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, had not been buried, the rabbi said this much, I know that the matter is known, it's to continue in this state is certainly not proper conduct, and they decided to bury him. There are those who say that the sages found out that Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, had not been buried when Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai's father appeared to them in a dream and said to them, I have a single fleshling among you, i.e. my son, and you do not wish to bring it to me by burying him next to me. Consequently, the sage went again, and you do not wish to bring it to me by burying him next to me. Consequently, the sage went to tend to his burial. The residents of Akbaria, the town where the corpse of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, was resting, did not allow them to do so. As they realized all the years of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, were resting in his attic, no wild beast had entered their town. The townspeople attributed this phenomenon to his murder and not want to lose his protection. One day, when it was Yom Kippur Eve, everyone in the town was preoccupied with the preparations for the festival. The rabbi sent a message to the residents of the adjacent town of Biri, instructing them to help remove the body of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, from the attic, and they removed his bier and brought it to his father's burial cave. They found a serpent, a akna, is the Aramaic form of the Greek. It is meaning viper or snake. Allegorically, the serpent is the cause of death and impurity in the world, as its advice led to the sin of Adam and Eve. For most people, death can be a fearful experience. One who has perfected and refined himself during his lifetime has no need to fear death, rather than being a negative and fearful experience. For such an individual, death is actually spiritually elevating. In this context, the serpent eye death is portrayed as protecting Rabbi Shimon and as his father, symbolizing his righteousness. He's a Ritva and the Totzvot, that had placed his tail in its mouth and completely encircled the entrance of the cave, denying them access. They said to it, Serpent, serpent, open your mouth to allow a son to enter next to his father. It opened its mouth for them and uncoiled, and they buried Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, alongside his father. And the Gemara continues, after this incident, Rabbi Huda and Asi sent a messenger to speak to the wife of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, and propose marriage. She sent a message to him in response, shall a vessel used by someone sacred, Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, be used by someone who is relative to him profane? Therefore, now she saw they say that she used a colloquial adage in the location where the master of the house hangs his sword, shall the contemptible shepherd hang his basket. attempt to push up that this was not considered defamation of Rabbi Huda. The widow of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, simply using colorful adage to make a point. Marita Ayin, hung his basket, a kulte. Kulte relate to the Greek kalathos, meaning basket. However, some suggest that the Greek term itself is actually a Semitic root. Perhaps kuf lamed ayin, meaning plait or weave. Rabbi Huda sent a message back to him. Granted, in the Torah he was greater than I, but was he greater than I in pious deeds? She sent a message back to him. Whether he was greater than you in Torah, I do not know, but I do know he was greater than you in pious deeds. As he accepted afflictions upon himself, the Gemara asked, with regard to Torah knowledge, what is the event that demonstrated the superiority of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, over Rabbi Huda? The Gemara answers, when Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel and Rabbi Yeshua ben Kocha, the leading sages of the generation, were sitting on benches, sal salei, from the Latin subsalium, which is possibly borrowed from the Greek subsala, meaning bench, teaching Torah with other sages. The youthful pair of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Huda would sit before them on the ground out of respect. These two students would engage in discussion with the sages, in which they would raise difficulties and answer them brilliantly. Seeing the young scholar's brilliance, the leading sages said, from their waters we drink, i.e. we are learning from them, and they are the ones sitting on the ground. Benches were prepared for Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Huda, and they were promoted to sit alongside with the sages. Ramban Shimon ben Gamliel said to the sages present, I have a single pleasure among you, i.e. my son Rabbi Huda, and you are seeking to take it from me. By promoting my son to such a position at such a young age, his chances of being adversely affected by the evil eye are greatly increased. They demoted Rabbi Yehuda to sit on the ground as far as request. Rabbi Yeshua ben Kocha said sages, should the one who has a father to care for him, I Rabbi Yehuda, be demoted so that he may live, while the other who does not have a father to care for him, I Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, should be allowed to die? Upon hearing his argument, sages also demoted Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, without explaining to him the reason for his demotion, became offended and said to them, you are equating Rabbi Yehuda to me, but demoted us together. In fact, I am much greater than he. As a result of that incident, the relationship of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, with Rabbi Huda changed. Up until that day, when Rabbi Huda would state a matter of Torah, Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, was supported by citing proofs for his opinion. His point forward, when discussing a subject, and Rabbi Yehuda would say, I have an argument to respond, Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, would preempt him by saying to him, such and such is what you have to respond, and this is the refutation of your claim. Now that you ask these questions, you have surrounded us with bundles of refutations that have no substance, i.e. you have forced us to give unnecessary answers. Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, would anticipate Rabbi Huda's comments and immediately dismiss them as having no value. Rabbi Huda became offended. Chalash Date de Rabbi Huda thought that the expertise of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, in Torah was a result of his greater effort, and that upset him. Rabbi Huda's father therefore explained to him that one's erudition is not solely a result of his toil. In this case, Rabbi Shimon was such a brilliant scholar that his son Rabbi Elazar had inherited great intellectual acumen, and said the Manei HaChochma. He came and told his father what transpired. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said to him, my son, do not let his actions offend you, as he is a lion, son of a lion, and you are a lion, son of a fox. Rabbi Elazar's father, Rabbi Shimon, was a renowned sage, and therefore Rabbi Elazar's sagacity is not surprising. In any event, this incident demonstrates the superiority of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, to Rabbi Huda with regard to knowledge of Torah. The Gemara concludes this incident is the background of a statement Rabbi Yehuda said. There are three prototypical modest people. They are father, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, son of Betera, and Jonathan, son of Saul. So that moves on to next. Omer, that we should have a good day in peace in Israel. All the best. Bye.